right, you right. Oh, echo. Wow, look at this. Yeah. We'll pull you, yeah. Oh, okay, look. Good. Wow. All the repairs. Yeah, good. Thank you.
Very good.
How you doing? Yeah. Okay, right, okay. Yeah.
Love it? Okay. This is the 这个是招牌的 This is signature. This is kimchi.
Oh. Is it easy to get people to make this up?
So every taste will be the same, packed with the same ingredient. Quality has to be there. Of
course, yeah. Try again.
Try again.
还行吧，还不错吧。
可以。OK，谢谢。
Okay. Okay, good evening all. Welcome to the Rossa Pool Series, sponsored by the Yuba Fang. We're here for the finals night between Sharik, Saeed, and Bala. Bala Subram. You can help
Bala
me.
Subramanian.
Okay,
Yeah,
you can
David
help me
Bala.
with that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bala, both players very well known in Singapore, top national players. This is the final from a 3-day event, which saw one winner from each of the last 2 days. So Sharik came through victorious on Saturday evening, and Bala won yesterday. And so we have the final this evening. This is the third of a series of events. And there's one more after this, and then there's a big finals event after that. So everybody's trying to qualify for that final big event, which will be later in November, I believe, because that's where the money's to be won. And these smaller events accumulate points so that the players can then get into that big finals day, which I believe is eight players. Sorry, I'd just like to say I'm here with Kai Min, also
hello.
joining me in the commentary booth, and he probably knows more about the technical side of what's going on.
Yeah,
with
I'm
the-
more of a. I handle all the back end with regards to live streamings. So if anything crops up stream wise, I'll be the guy to rectify it on the spot.
You probably also know how much all the numbers of players are in each event and the prize money and so on. Maybe we can talk about that a little bit later, because we're already actually well into the first rack. So we'll come back to the details of how the event is working. I mean, we're already five balls down here in the first rack. Sharik obviously won the lag.
Yep.
And made a good break, and he's running out. So
Yeah, it was a pretty clean wreck. He started off the break and 3 balls went in, 1, 4, and 7.
well noticed. He didn't like the way he kissed the 5 ball round off the 2-rail position there, but he's played that safety perfectly. Cue ball on the top rail, close to the top rail, making the jump shot just a little bit more tricky. It's probably looking to put this in the corner with a kind of mid-ball stun jump shot, so that he's going to have the 6 into the opposite corner pocket, so down in the left. But he might be trying to cut this in the middle. He might be. I'm not too keen on that though, because he could deflect. If he makes it, he could deflect off the 6 and have a scratch. I fancy the corner myself. I think he's going for. He did go for the corner, I think.
Yeah. So these recently all the tablecloths has been changed. With some of the tables 1, 3, and 5, they have their pockets tightened to 3.9. I think,
Right.
I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. So do all these change in conditions, right, affect these players' gameplay drastically?
I think 3.9 for tournament pool is very, very, very tough indeed. Because they're so new, they probably play more like 4 inches or 4.1 on a worn cloth. So I think for these first few weeks, they'll still be fine on the 3.9.
Yeah.
But once the cloth gets worn in, these tables are going to be brutal for training only advised, I would say. Obviously, these guys are a lot more accurate than I am, but yeah, they're still playing. They're pretty accepting still, I would say. Although Rassons, of course, characteristically do have a very deep shelf in the pocket.
Yep.
So if you do catch that jaw as you're going in, they do tend to stay up. And that will happen more and more as the cloths get worn in, of course. Just a couple of weeks old now, I think, right?
Yeah, I think it's a couple of weeks old, maybe 3 weeks. So I noticed that the table has like 2 straight lines drawn along the board line over, or is that a kitchen?
Yep.
So
Depends if you're a snooker or a pool player.
So which one is the appropriate term?
Most people use the term kitchen.
Kitchen.
I heard that one of the very original players, I can't remember who, someone like Willie Mosconi had a table in his house, and that end of the table, because of the size of his living room, actually was partly in the kitchen, and so they referred to it as the kitchen.
Oh, okay.
And since then it's stuck, but it's just a slang term. In snooker, obviously, that area is called the balk line. it was never that term didn't come from pool, but I think a lot of players would understand what you meant when you said that. Yeah.
I most of us know some of these terms, but we do not know where it originates from. Yeah, so it's quite an interesting bit.
So sorry we missed there what happened in the first rack, but obviously that safety that Sharik played there paid off for him. Bala made a good jump, but ultimately sold out the rack. It wasn't an easy ball. He had to cut down the cushion there, but he controlled it well. And these guys are looking pretty relaxed. They seem to be playing no unexpected mistakes at all so far. Let's see how Bala's break is. Experienced player, formerly I think ranked as high as number 3 in Singapore. Not sure what his current ranking is. Would you know that?
Well, I can check it out over here.
We'll have a quick look on that in the background. Whilst we see our referee Serene here, checking the racks. The balls are all nice and tight.
Well, according to the Q Sports website, Bala is
He's currently
ranked
down
9.
at number 9, but I think he only recently came back to the game. So in his defense, he's still clawing his way back up, because the ranking points, as I understand, are based on results over the last couple of years.
Yep.
And he's only recently come back into the game. So we would expect that to climb.
Yeah, it's not updated from what I see, because recently there's been a national 10 ball
Right.
at ARC, so I think that it's not reflected over here.
Okay, so we're going to see Bala's ranking come up for sure over the next time. So right here, he's looking at a 3-9 combination. Oh no, sorry, the 2 ball's still on the table. So if that 2 ball had dropped, this could have been a very quick rack. But he's somehow got to get back up for the 2, and I can't see that happening. He might look at trying to kick in the 9 off of 2 rails, because that actually gives him a good shot on the 2 to make a hook behind that 5 ball. So you may see him come round 2 rails and go at that 9 ball here. And if it doesn't go in, the pocket's protected by the 9 ball, and he'll have a shot on the 2 to play safe. Yeah, I guess the power just threw the ball a little wide. If he'd hit the cushion higher up, he might have had a chance of that. But it looks like it should be a relatively routine safety here, pushing the 2 to the long rail, leaving the ball stuck up behind the 5. I'm not sure if he has exactly that angle. I think either way, Sharik's going to find himself stuck behind that 5 ball when he comes back to the table.
Textbook safety.
Yeah, he's got it close enough that the jump cue can't be used, which is his main objective. He hasn't cut off all the angles though, which was his second objective. So Sharik's got his measuring method here, the mirroring system, to try and work out the angle, the line of the cue ball. So there's no way he'll miss this. The question is he going to hit the top side and send the 2 ball down towards that pocket by the 4, and possibly put the cue ball back up behind the 5? That's what he's aiming to. I think he wants to hit this high on the top side and knock that cue ball down the table. Hit it a bit thick, but I think he's still good. He's had a lucky one there, or a fortunate roll. But it was a...
Yeah, but I think there's a clear shot.
He can get through to that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking at the other camera angle here. Oh yeah, he can get even through to the potting angle side, right?
Yep.
To put it in the bottom
Yeah,
right.
there's more than enough angle.
Yeah, okay. So catching that a bit thick has given Bala a shot now, but it's not easy. And this is the first ball to be potted, and he's going to have to stun across to that side rail. I think. Oh, okay.
Now, was he trying to place the cue ball for the 3-9? Or given that the pace that he's hitting?
I'm not sure. I really expected him to stun that to the side rail and back out for a shot on the 3-9, and he's followed it. And quite honestly, he hit that Did he hit that thick or thin? I think he hit it
Thin.
He hit it thin?
Is it thin? Wait, let me think.
Because it looked to me like a scratch with a follow. That's why I'm surprised he took that. But it's obviously a little bit deceptive sometimes, the angle we have here. I think the bottom end of the table looks a little larger than the back end of the table. So maybe it's a bit tricky to see exactly.
Well, isn't it also called a head string? Well, yes, Julian, I
Head string,
think, yeah,
yes.
I've heard of head string. That explains the 3-ball head string rule. Eh?
So the pool term is head string. Correct. Very good. Very good. Correct. Thank you. Thank you for that, Julian.
Ah, Razor commented, it was a thin. Yeah, he landed it thin.
He landed thin, right? So, and if he'd hit it thick, I think the cue ball would have scratched. Because the cue ball just hit on the short rail near the pocket.
Now
So
he's
we'll have
left
to
an
ask him
open
after
shot.
what he was up to there. But yeah, he's played for the combo, I'm sure here. But oh, okay, he'll take second prize on that. I mean, there's a possibility to go for the combo again here, but I don't think he'll take the risk. I think the smart way is just to play the rack out.
Yeah, just carry on with running out the rack.
The only slight concern, I mean, the shot of the rack here is 45, depending on the angle he lands, and he's landed queuing over the 8-ball. So that has now made things a lot more tricky. I mean, this is super tough, and he's straight down. I mean,
He's got to force
very
it down.
confident.
The top spinner, he has to force it on the top spin.
To play this shot like that with jacked up rest, the top spin and power is, well,
Oh, wow.
there you see the result in the
Completely
technical.
veered off.
Yeah, I mean, that was just so tough.
Oh wait,
And,
he might have gotten lucky with it.
and he's playing just a little quick for my likes. I mean, Bala is a quick player. He's an instinctive player, and when he's on, he's just brilliant. But for now, that was perhaps pushing the boat out a little bit far for this kind of high pressure situation where every ball counts. But that's how he plays. And if it had gone in and he'd made it, then that would have put a huge amount of pressure back on Sharik. So there's no way to criticize that kind of style. I like it myself. I like to see pool played like that. Sure, if he's going to cut this down the rail and try and leave safety at the same time, or just play a pure safety here. Yeah, he's just going for the safety. I think it was a two-way shot, to be fair. He had that corner pocket in mind because he had a nice position on the 5.
He
But
banked
it was-
thick.
He purposely banked it thick with the right weight so that ball was ended up in the middle of area of that bottom cushion. Yeah, it's a smart sort of two-way shot, you'd say. Oh, no,
yeah, got
it's
it.
not
Oh,
gonna.
no.
Good result though. It's got control of the table back with that shot.
Yeah, he's also left Sharik with quite an awkward shot as well. Okay.
Comment from Victor there. Hi to yourself.
Hello.
Pleasure to be in the booth here today with Kai Ming. Thanks for tuning in and listening. So Sharik's jacked up over this 9 a little bit, I think. And the danger is with hitting the side that he can hit is obviously the scratch. He may be able to play a cut for the pot, but of course he needs to catch it very, very thin.
Sure. It seems like the path will run into the 7 if he goes along
With a cut shot, you mean?
yeah with the cut shot
Right.
to the right pocket.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah. He might be trying to swerve to get to the other side of it. I think
Seems
swerve
like
round
it.
the brown slightly and to hit the potting angle for that bottom right corner. Oh, he's gone at the 9. He's gone at the 9. I didn't even think of that. Well, that's why he's a sponsored player and I'm not. So yeah, Sharik is the in-house pro here at Rossa, if you like. Sponsored. He's gone full time now, I believe,
Yep.
to make his pool career, and he's had some good results internationally. Been to US a couple of times within the last year or so. Improving all the time.
Yeah, I think he was US for studying is it finance degree or something? And, University of Dublin, is it?
Okay.
Yeah, I might be wrong. Yeah.
You mean that's when he first was in the US?
Yeah, I think so.
That's where he got the pool bug, or?
Nah, he already caught it.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I think he's aware. I think he's had some training from Jeremy Jones, who's one of the best commentators on the pool scene, and he came back from that trip with a lot of knowledge, a lot of new knowledge.
Now then,
So yeah, that was Please, Kami.
sorry. So we see that there is this new upcoming European tour, was it? European Open?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they are introducing a new way of breaking, which is breaking from within that two
Oh, that's
vertical
where you
lines.
mentioned the lines.
Yeah, so do you see this being the new standard moving forward? Like, would this be the new approach?
Oh, that's a tough question, because I mean, you're asking me whether all the other pool federations are going to follow what Matchroom decides, and that is a very political thing, because whether or not it's sensible or not, and whether or not the other people would choose to take their lead, there could be a political component to the decision. Like, oh, we're going to do our own thing, we're not going to follow Matchroom, or Matchroom are amazing, they make every right choice, we'll follow it. But you know what I mean? There could be other factors in that. But of course, I mean, so just to explain to the viewers, Kaimin's talking about those lines, which means that when the player places the cue ball to break, they have to break with inside that box rather than on the side, from the side of the rail, which makes potting the wing ball easy. If you break from the side, where you can see the scorch marks on either side, you will have a high chance of making that wing ball. That's the one at the edge of the diamond. In this case, it's the green 6 ball or the purple 5 ball. So we decide, depending on which side the player chooses to break, if they're left or right-handed, one of those wing balls will go, most likely. And that makes 9 ball obviously very, for the pros, it makes it very easy to break and run. And Matchroom have decided now for this European tour to make them break from that box in the center, which makes those wing balls just almost impossible to make. In fact, they just won't go. You have to target other balls or just whack them as hard as you can. But Kaiming, that's not a new thing. They've been putting this box on the table for years, on and off. I've seen it 20 years ago. And it goes in and out of fashion, to be honest. They'll have it for one tournament and then they'll change it for the next one.
Well, it is fresh.
So,
but I get where they're coming from. I mean, the current break that most of us are familiar with, we seem to be able to constantly replicate the same layout, whereby one ball just lands at somewhere along the rails.
Exactly. I mean, look at these guys. 3 balls on the break again. The same 3 balls that he made before. Not the same actual number, because obviously it's not a patterned rack. The balls are racked randomly, but the same 3 balls in the same position went in the same pockets. So that's what Kaimin's referring to try and make the game more exciting for viewers, less predictable. They've added that box. So the reason it's on the roster tables here is so that these guys can train for going to that event. I'm not sure if Sharik's registered for the European. Is he registered for the European? I mean, Aloysius is definitely there because he's top 6 on the list. But I don't know if anybody else is going. Maybe Tolin Han or Sharik.
Maybe I'm not sure.
We'll have to check. I've seen the list. It's like 256 players. It's a huge. I might have overstated that. It's a very very big list. And the names were so small written I couldn't even see them. It's 128 or 256. I'm sure the startup. It's It's a really big field. I'm not quite sure. Is it frozen near the feed, or is Sharik
Okay.
checking that for a long time?
Wow, I can't really tell. Oh no, he's so still.
I think it was.
Yeah, it got me worried for a moment. I thought the stream just hanged.
Ah, nice. So that was exactly what he wanted to achieve there. Was hitting the 2 ball full in the face. A little bit of top spin on the cue ball will translate to a stun shot when it hits the two ball, and so he can hold the cue ball exactly where he hit the 2, and all he has to concentrate then is the pace to put the 2 ball over on the other side of the table by the brown, and he executed that perfectly. A lot easier said than done to hit the ball straight in the face, but that was exactly what he planned to do in this case.
Now for this shot, right, will he be able to make like 2 rails kick from the back and stop the cue ball? Oh no. But I think that one's a very difficult shot.
Yeah, when you're coming off of 2 rails, to hit that ball perfectly in the face becomes obviously more challenging.
Yeah.
And it a lot of the times goes down to a bit of gut feeling, and you'll tend to see the players hit it correctly more often when they're not under pressure. And yeah, I think he hasn't got away with that. But the good thing is, I'm not sure the 3 passes the 9, so this is not simple positional shot for Sharik. He's either got to push the cue ball to the top corner by that pocket that the 2's going in, or pump it round off of 3 rails for position. Because I don't think the 3 goes past the 9.
Well, we can take a peek in our preview window. Oh, okay, that was an X.
So what he tried to do was force it off the cushion to come across to the other side of the table for the 3. And yeah, because of the spin on the cue ball and the power, he's then missed the relatively simple pot just because of the complexity of the position. So if that was a stun shot, putting the 3 in the opposite corner pocket, he would never have missed it. But now he's got a bit fortunate, for sure. Bala's maybe trying to kick this in the bottom left corner. And if he can get some stun on the cue ball, he might be able to leave the cue ball behind the brown for a little bit of safety. So he got the cue ball good, but a lot of power in that, and I think... Is he hooked, or can he get the edge? No, he's hooked. So Sharik's going for his jump cue. I would say he's going for the short cue, but these days jump cues are a lot longer than they used to be.
Which view would be the preferred view of this? This would be nice.
It's a good view for the jump, yeah. So Sharik took the 3rd part off of his jump cue there. I'm not sure why, because the cue was not close to the 8, so I would fancy the slightly longer stick myself, but personal preference here. He's not worried about making the jump and putting the 2. He's really just trying to wonder where the cue ball's going at this stage. Ooh, okay. He may have been trying to put some spin on the cue ball and thrown the angle of the jump off. These guys aren't just looking to pop the ball anymore these days with the jump sticks. The jump sticks technology has got so good that it's really affording them a lot of control with the jump, and they're really targeting position. So down the club you'll see players just going to pop the ball, and if they make the jump pot they're happy. But these guys are really looking to control the spin, side left, top and bottom, as well as the power to try and get position as well.
Oh dear.
Ooh. I mean, that looked a bit too hard to me. Even if he'd not scratched, I think it would have been coming too far back onto the other side of the table. That definitely wasn't any easy kind of shot.
But now Sharik has a free ball, I think. The layout's pretty straightforward for him, I guess.
Yeah, I don't see any
Well,
problems here.
Anything would happen.
Anything can happen, and usually does. But yeah, he's odds on to get out now. He's got perfect on that. He'll probably just leave a stop shot and then play the black for the corner. He might roll forward and take it from the middle, but either's possible here. Just a preference thing. So it's a bit in between the two there. I'm not sure if he's playing for the corner or the middle, but he'll be playing it in the middle for sure.
He seems like he's trying to play a lot of siding to get back straight on the 8. But then again, I think the cloths are pretty new. I'm not sure if they are able to grab that much spin out of it.
Yep, I think that was definitely a symptom of that in that case. But he got very well, nice back in line for this routine 9 ball. Nice speed control. So while this rack's going in, maybe Kamin, you can mention here.
Yep. Okay. So this event is basically sponsored by Fang. They are, I believe they are from Taiwan. They do have quite a lot of gyozas and braised pork rice. I think. 卤肉饭.
I've just tried the little rolls myself. I haven't tried that. It's a pancake thing.
Yeah, they were here during the first event.
Yeah.
And I've tried some of their gyozas and they're really good. Really good. Especially their soybean milk. Thick and not too sweet. I'm not a sweet tooth kind of person, and that one just really strikes me well. So they have this new item on their menu, which is the oyster vermicelli or the misua. Yeah, we're at $6.50 a bowl. It's quite a good deal. So if you are keen to try out their dishes, there are 3 outlets: Raffles City Shopping Mall, the basement one, or Century Square, basement 1 as well, and Amokyo Hub, basement 2.
Great. So we have Bala breaking off. It's be a second break. It's the second time he.
I think he missed the wing ball.
Yeah. So that's a tough one. So certainly not saying that was Serene's issue, but Bala wasn't too happy with not getting the wing ball on that. It's very unusual that the guys don't make the wing ball with the magic rack. On the other hand, his cue ball's not where he wanted it, so maybe it's a little bit of a miss hit.
Oh, Sharik returned the shot to him.
Yep, so that was an illegal break, only 1 ball past the head string. And so he passed the shot back to Bala. And it really was close, wasn't it?
Yeah, this particular table is 3.9 inches.
Right.
Yeah, it's the tight one.
Yeah. So any regular pool table, that would have probably been in and he would probably be out now. We've seen the table get turned back over to Sharik. All the kind of considerations a pool players makes on any given day. You know, how much polish is on the balls, how unused the cloth, how big are the pockets, how's my opponent feeling, all things that go into the decision when you give back when you push or when you give back the table. Certain players are known to be demon jumpers. You may not have passed that shot back to them. You never know.
I think with just the new carbon fiber jump cues, these players have found more confidence in jumping aggressively. Yeah.
Yeah, they afford a huge amount of control these days, and having a slightly longer stick that still jumps the ball makes the aiming a lot easier. So the jumping technologies change the games, and of course a lot of the old school guys not too keen on that. But that's the way the game's going. So, and it's a skill of its own.
Yeah, I've heard of some tournaments in the States where they ban the use of jump cues.
Right, they still have those kind of those kind of events. Yeah,
there was quite a number of events where they had quite quirky rules. Well, I remember seeing one recently in US whereby the players can just climb on top of the table to take a shot.
They can do what? Sorry,
they can climb on top of the table.
Oh, there's no foot on the ground rule.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, there's also some weird old rules, like they still play in the Philippines, whereby you're actually allowed to make foul on the balls, and they mark the table every time you might foul a ball, they put a little
Oh,
mark
yes,
on
yes,
the
yes.
table.
Like a talcum powder. Right?
Yeah, there's a special guy for that. He gets
Oh, yes,
paid
yes,
for
yes.
the job. So, you know, they don't want to do anybody out of a job. So they keep that rule. And these guys, literally, every time the player might possibly hit a ball with his cue or with his body, they will mark it. And it's not a foul. They get to keep on shooting.
Oh, okay.
So it's an interesting one as well. And I think they do have that in the US. I mean, they certainly used to have that in the US. And I think some events still play it.
Oh, I initially thought that spot that they marked on is for them to respot the ball or something.
It is. It is
It
for
is?
them to respot the ball.
Oh, I see.
So but the player can still carry on playing. To my knowledge, I think that's that it's not considered a reason why someone should fail because their shirt rubbed the ball away.
It's true.
I think there's some intricacies to that rule whereby they're not allowed to foul a ball that could be important for the next shot, or influence the next shot.
Ah, I see.
So, but I've never played it, so don't take my word on that. Perhaps someone listening knows that the ins and outs of that, and they can comment because I've never really understood it myself. It's not really relevant for today's game, right?
Yeah.
most pool events are playing all ball fouls, and any pro event is playing that. So, yeah, it's a bit of history.
I think people will find it weird if you do it here, here in Singapore.
Yeah, you won't get away with that here. You couldn't afford the manpower to pay the guy to put the spots on the table everywhere as well. That would be the other issue.
And even if you put spots on the table, I think the management wouldn't make it, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
The chalk. Oh, is he scratched?
He's overdone it.
Oh, he's got
okay,
away
okay.
with it. Wow.
Oh, that's a really powerful draw.
All right then. It looks like he should be out here, but you know, with these 3.9-inch pockets, look, it's got to be.
Yeah.
This has got to be accurate at this length. Yeah.
Even the simplest shots might be a bit more difficult than usual. But I've tried the tables myself, and like some of these
very good.
textbook shots, right, such as the stop shot along the long side of the table, I do get intimidated by the size of the pocket at times.
It's in your mind when you're shooting.
Yeah, it's a mind.
You got to
thing.
blank that out. That's all I can say. But and if it is in your mind, you're gonna wobble them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it can be, and it's an interesting point for debate. I mean, maybe our listeners can, you know, tell us what they think about it, because a lot of players think. There are some players who think that it takes away from the game because it was designed to have pockets where that you can cheat in order to make more out of the cue ball. There's other players that just like to make the game harder and harder and think that it's going to increase the skill and the watchability.
Well, if it's tied to a point whereby it affects the way that you are making your shot selection and making your shot your cue ball placement, right, a bit awkward, then I think that is going to be a negative impact on your gameplay.
I fully agree with you on that, because we already have Chinese 8-ball, which is essentially that. You know, the pockets are so tight that you cannot cheat anything. If you don't land with the right angle you need, you're done. And so the game becomes more about pinpoint positioning than it does about, hey, I can find a way to get out here. I can smash the ball with spin and cheat the pocket and get the cue ball around, you know, which is, to me, it's kind of what pool is. You got that magical element. And once you just make the pocket so tight, all you can do is get perfect position, otherwise you're dead. I think that's Chinese 8-ball. So that's my personal opinion.
Yeah, there are a bit of hybrid between pool and snooker.
Right now, with these pockets for me.
Guys, well, for this
Oh,
one,
you mean like this? Yeah.
this one's still okay. I think Chinese 8-ball is more.
The hybrid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a hybrid.
closer to
I mean,
hybrid,
it's pool on a mini snooker table, right?
Yeah.
And it's an interesting game, and I think it's a great game.
Yeah.
But it's not. But we don't want to turn this American pool game into that, right?
Ah,
and
yes,
if you
yes,
make
yes.
the pockets any tighter, what's the difference? So, anyway, I don't see Matchroom going below 4 inches for a while. I think they've made that standard policy now. I don't see them going under that. 4 inches is still okay, you know. It's still
Yeah, I think
well
4
over
is
one
okay.
ball. You can pinch the pocket with 4 inches, especially with a new cloth. So that's okay. Try making a ball when you play 8-ball on 4-inch pockets. It's incredible how difficult it is to make a ball. I know if you've seen the I can't remember what the series was called. The one that Darren Appleton did a few years ago when they had an 8-ball league in the US. And they were on Rasson tables with 4-inch pockets, and they made them break from the side with 8-ball, and no one could make a ball on the
Oh,
break.
Yeah, usually for 8-ball, people just break from the middle. Or
Right.
we did that boxer.
Right,
Yeah.
because you could make the wing balls just ahead of the front ball, right?
Yeah,
But if you push the 8-ball break to the side and then you tighten up the pockets to 4 inches, it's incredible. You just don't make any balls on the break. So, it was an interesting kind of tournament. I think Glentikachi won that, and nobody knew him. He was like 18 at the time, and suddenly he comes onto the scene and wins that 8-ball event.
So now we are 3-1 with Sharik leading. Oh, another good break.
A different 3 balls this time. It made the 2 in the corner, came round off 2 rails, which is unusual, but he'll be happy. This is no easy shot though, queuing off the rail next to the pocket. But the good thing for him is he just has to make the ball. There's nothing to do, so you've got to hit centre ball, medium pace, and is straight in on the 4. So you'd expect him to make this given the lack of complexity on the positional side, but it's not easy. Made it look easy.
I think he will just roll up a little bit further to have a decent angle to go back for a 6. Or he'll stun it.
Yeah, I feel like if Sharik gets out here with alternate break, it's going to be tough for Bala. So he's going to need some rolls. If Sharik gets out here, Bala's going to need some rolls to come back. It's good. Oh, he's perfect. A little screw back for a stop shot on the 9.
Okay.
He wanted to come back a bit more. He might have to.
Yeah, he
this
wanted
off
to
the
come
rail.
back a bit further, but I guess this is still okay, still manageable.
Yeah, just pop it off the rail. Nice smooth stroke. The ball's floating around. Fast new cloth. Very, very well air conditioned here. So it's probably 21 degrees in there, something like that. So the cloths are really running very fast for Asian conditions. I would think a pro player from the UK or North America might think they're actually running a little slow, because obviously here in Singapore we have extremely high humidity, and even with the very high aircon it's impossible to shut all that out of the pool hall. But still at Rossa they really maintain a very, very high-end atmosphere to try and mimic those professional conditions.
So while they are just preparing for the next rack, I'll just mention some of the additional promotions that are ongoing for Fang. So the Fang is celebrating their first year anniversary with having some of the promotions. From Auto, you can have, there's this buy 2 and get 1 free. You choose between 3 flavors: classic, fragrant chives, or spicy Korean. And these promotion ends at the 31st of August. Now, if you are on site, you stand a chance to if you spend at any of their 3 outlets, you stand a chance to win prizes worth up to $50 or more with every 2 times $8 spent between the 7th and the 14th of August. So this promotion is limited to the first 88 customers per outlet. Yeah, so get on down.
So we're back here there. Sorry, who that was Bala's break?
Yeah, but I think it's another dry break.
Has he had another dry break?
Another one.
What is going on there? I mean, that's unfathomable.
Yeah, he needs to quickly rectify this issue.
Did I missed that? Did the cue ball fly around the table, or what happened? Did he not hit them good, or because Sharik's been breaking perfectly, so I don't believe there could be any issues with the rack or with Serene's experience
I
on
think
that.
he's just still struggling with finding the right spot to hit.
Yeah. I mean, this is not good signs for Bala at 1-4 down and not being able to make a ball on the break. If you'd seen his previous matches, where I think he did 5 and 6 break-in run, I think this semi-final with AJ, who's probably probably is the top Filipino player in Singapore. He had, I heard, 5 or 6 break-in runs. I think AJ had 3 or 4, but Bala was really. I expected if he could carry on that form that he had yesterday, that he would be something really difficult for Sharik to contend with. But it's not. He hasn't brought that form so far today. Let's hope we can turn it around. I think now Sharik's 4-1 in front. He'll be a lot more relaxed going about this clear out here. He's got a nice angle just to come across. His problem's the black ball, but I'm not sure if he's going to try and come in between the 7 and the black ball as he comes across the table, or put a bit more spin and go up past the 7. It's tricky to know exactly what angle he's got here, but he's definitely...
Yeah, it's quite a wide angle for him.
So he's going to go across, but then the black could come into play. That's all I'm worried about. If he hits the wrong side of the black on this.
Oh, wow,
he's hit
nicely
that
played.
perfectly. Like, I mean, there was only a ball space in there, so a lot of training gone into that shot there to know exactly how much left-hand spin to come on that line perfectly through there. So it's probably going to... The 5 doesn't pass the 6 in the bottom right-hand side from what I can see, so he's going to need to pump this round with bottom left-hand spin, come off 2 cushions, up for that diamond just in front of the right centre pocket. Bounce off the rail there. I think he's got to try and spin it round like that. He wants to go on, keep the cue ball on the inside of the 8 ball. And then he may trying to go around 3 rails behind the black and off the bottom rail, but I think that's the least. I think that offers more problems. He might bump the 6 if he does that.
With just top spin, you think is enough to reach on the cue ball to land the cue ball on the right side.
Right, good point. Hadn't thought of that. Just come past the 9, you mean, and float down.
Yeah.
Yep. He could be going like that. I think you're right, actually, from the way he's queuing.
Oh no!
He's gone the 3 cushion route. I don't fancy that. Oh, he's been he's been a bit fortunate there.
No, but okay, he landed pretty nicely. Even though it's not what he intended.
He didn't plan that.
Yeah.
But he's going to take that all day long. It's just a stop shot now. So the challenge with playing the kind of shots that we were both talking about, whether it be the screw or the right hand spin, is the cloths don't take it as well, right?
Yeah.
So it's probably why he's chosen to do that. It's an easy, needed less spin on the cue ball to make the shot that he went for.
It's just ridiculous how still he is when he's going down for the shot. I kept thinking that something's wrong in the stream.
It's like it's frozen, but
it's completely frozen.
That's like a machine. Yeah, most players tend to put the odd twitch in, right?
Yeah.
But, that's what the training's about every day.
I do have this habit, right? Whenever I pull back the cue, right, I can feel my head lifting up a tad bit. Yeah, and I think that's a bad habit. I need to get rid of it.
Right. Well, I mean, the first challenge with solving a problem is knowing what the problem is, and I think a lot of players don't analyze that. They have no clue they're even doing it. So if you know, that's good that you recognize that.
I don't know how to fix it. I think I've identified this issue for like more than a year already.
It's just built in. It's already become like a
Yeah,
hardwired habit. But
Yeah.
you're young enough to get rid of that.
Habits die hard.
You don't want to end up like Earl Strickland. You'll be putting weights on your neck so you can't move your head.
That man has a ton of gadgets.
Yeah, I'd love to know what's in his mind when he puts on all this stuff. Weights around his waist, weights all over his arm.
I remember he had some finger joints that allows him to reach taller.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like he'd broken his fingers. He had them all wrapped up with bandages, right?
Yeah, but you gotta admit, he's pretty creative when it comes to all this.
I mean, I love the way the guy strokes the ball is something else. I mean, I don't know what you call it, whether it's hours of practice or natural talent, but he just, the way watching his cue action is just brilliant. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, the rest I don't know. I don't know him personally, so I can't speak to it. All I know is what I see. So it's entertaining though.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
Sometimes I feel that it's his on-stage persona.
Yeah, I think the crowd and having them behind him or not is a huge element of this game. When he's back home, he's the favorite, and they get behind him, and he's just indestructible.
Yeah.
But if he's in a hostile environment and everything builds up, understandably, it can get to you. And the pros, most of the pros handle it in a completely different way. He's very unique in how he handles that. And amazingly, sometimes he still manages to win, despite all that seeming pressure that he puts on himself. You know, he can't help it. It's just the way he is.
It's like he thrives on crowd. If
Yes.
the whole crowd is cheering for him,
Right.
that's where he plays the best.
And if they're not, then he takes it personally.
Yes,
Even though
yes.
they're just actually for the other guy, he takes it personally, right? That's understandable. I mean, it's tough on the mind, these kind of conditions when you're making a living from it. It's the psychological aspects like that become very important to your success. Great break. Cue ball, nicely controlled, center of the table. He was probably looking to make the one. And as you can see, if he had made the one, he'd have been fine. But this is almost even better now because it's an easier shot to get from the 3 to the 5 than it would be from the 3 to the 5 if he had to pop the 3. So you just want to probably just draw back a little bit, or even leave the 3 long down the rail here, stun out for the 5 afterwards. Now he's punched it in, so he's got the center pocket on the 3. It looks like Sharik really dominating this. I'd like to see Bala get a better chance to come back.
Well, just a draw to the middle of the table. Leaving a nice angle. Yep, I think that's just nice. Just go off one rail along the right side.
Yeah, his only worry here is somehow under-hitting it, that he ends up behind the 7 ball, right? I don't expect him to do that, but that's a kind of amateur mistake, would be to somehow have this 7 ball in your mind and then end up stuck behind it. Sure he'll come down low enough for the 6, so he might go to the center of the table, but I think he'll probably go low for it. Yeah, perfect. That's ball in hand. Oh, he's 100 to 1 odds to get out here. It's just a stun shot, leave himself straight on the 7. Stun shot, straight on the 7. 8, stun shot, in goes the 9. It's making it look very easy.
He's rolling it up. Oh, okay.
He's got the cue ball on a string here.
I think he's pretty comfortable right now, given
Yeah.
the lead
Right.
he's had. Yeah.
That's exactly right. The pressure's off, which has allowed him to really focus on his game and just do what he does best, which is not miss, really. I think we should give a shout out to Aloysius here, Singapore's golden boy in the pool world, number one.
Yeah.
Number one here, and also number one. He's been number one in the world quite a bit recently, at least for a few weeks over the last year. He's been in and out of the number one and two spot on the world rankings. I think he's ranked number 6 for this upcoming European this new European pool series. He just made the bronze medal at the World Pool Series. So yeah, I think his name I saw, because they have the first 5 or 6 names on that list for the European Open as in bigger letters, so you can see the names of the players better. So Aloysius is officially number 7 at the moment in the world, but there's a few different ranking systems.
Yeah, it's quite confusing.
It's like boxing, right? They have different federations governing different regions. So, but Aloysius is up there on both of them. I think he's number 6 on the match room and number 7 on the world one, but he's been up as high as number 1 and 2 in
Yeah.
both. So he's not here because he's traveling for that invited European Open spot, which I believe, thanks Dimitri for messaging me, starts tomorrow, which explains why that we now know Sharik is not playing there, because it starts tomorrow, so he would be not here if he was playing.
Definitely.
But so I guess I'm not sure if Tolin Hand's gone over those. So Aloysius's partner at the recent World Cup of Pool, where Aloysius and Tolin Hand, Singapore got to the final, I believe.
Oh yes, finals.
They got to the final in the World Pool Cup
against Spain, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. So that's an amazing, way better than Singapore's ever done before in history, getting to the final of the World Pool Cup. And his partner there, Tolin Han, who actually played arguably as well as Aloysius in some parts of that event, perhaps due to some equipment issues, but they put in a great showing, and I'm not sure if Tolin Han has gone over for that event, but it wouldn't surprise me if he had an invite. So what's he done there? I thought he could see the one.
Not really sure what was he trying to do.
It looked like he was jacked up, maybe trying to swerve the cue ball a little bit, maybe going for the bank in the corner. But I thought he had a cut shot on that.
The cue ball landed at a very weird spot though. Even if he got in that shot.
It looked like he was going for the bank up in the top corner pocket and then trying to hold the cue ball for safety.
Yep.
And it could have been because he just couldn't see enough of the womble to make the potting angle. But either way, he was hoping to leave the cue ball behind the 2, 3, 8 and the cue ball and the one up the other end. And now it's given Sharik a shot. This is not easy.
Yeah, for this, I'm not sure if he's able to skirt past the 6 ball after potting the 1 into the middle. Seems like 6 is in the way.
Yeah, I agree. And he's only got a small window to land in for the 2.
Oh,
He's gone that way. Yeah. So he's checked it a bit. Very nice weight control. And he's landed ball in hand, made that look easy again. That was far from it. So we see all of Sharik's international experience coming into play here. Sharik's been over for at least 1, if not 2, international tours. He played in the US Open last year. I know that. I can remember that much. I'm not sure what other international events he played in, but there's definitely several of them. And that's obviously, I think, standing him in good stead here, because slow and steady, everything controlled. He hasn't showed any signs of pressure. Bala, in my experience, really a natural talent. Usually plays very fast, and if he got on his thing like he was playing yesterday, I was thinking it might be a very, very close game. Very different styles. Sharik much more calculated. Whereas Bala's kind of, I think, you know, is a huge amount of knowledge included in how he plays. But he's a field player. And, you know, once he get on a roll, he's like a freight train. And Sharik knows that. So it's not giving him a chance if he can help it.
He might want to draw this a bit closer.
I mean, it's perfectly in line with everything, right? I mean, the viewers may not realize that he really wanted that angle, exactly that angle, because it's just a little stun draw, so it doesn't need much spin, and he's again in angle just to play everything center ball. On these tables with the polished balls, the new cloth, as we've already mentioned, you don't want to be putting a lot of spin on the cue ball because it doesn't have a lot of effect. It pushes the line off. The cue ball will deflect a lot. And it doesn't, the spin doesn't take on the cushion. So you have to stay everything in line, and down the club with the usual conditions, you can you know, manipulate the cue ball with the big pockets. The cue ball bites on the rail, and you can just pretty much put that cue ball anywhere you want from any shot. But on these tables, you just cannot do that. You have to be more in line all the time. It's hard to see a way back from this for Bala at the moment.
Yeah.
Especially with the alternate break.
So for the viewers that are currently tuning in and probably Facebook's not cutting out for you, you are experiencing some issues with the stream, you can check out our YouTube stream as well. We are now streaming on YouTube as well. So if you go on to the Rosa's YouTube channel, you should be able to see the live stream that is going on right now. Okay, yeah, maybe I'll just paste the link into the comment section for you guys. All right.
So I've just had a message from another friend. Thank you for that. That Tolinhan has indeed gone over with Aloysius for the European Open. So I'm guessing he got an invite for that based on their World Cup of Pool result. And that's great to hear that Tolinhan could go over and join Aloysius in that event. And we can probably tune in and watch that. I hope they're doing a live streaming for that.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be live stream.
It's a matchroom event, right? Is it
so.
matchroom?
Is it?
I'm not sure about that. So worth to mention also, Matchroom are doing an event in Singapore soon.
Oh yes.
So
APF, right?
Yeah, that'll be. I mean, I think it's the first.
Yeah.
It's a big prize purse and ranking points, world ranking points. I don't know if that's happened in Singapore at that level before, so that'll be exciting as well. I think a lot of it's to do with Aloysius' success on the international scene. It's really attracted the attention towards Singapore.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that Aloysius' success has really put a pin on Singapore when it comes to the pool scene. Yeah.
All right, Sharik going for his break again. Let's watch the one. Watch the 6. It's going to be straight in that left corner pocket. Straight in. The 1's gone as well. And where's he going to be on the 2? Look at that. Tell me a new story. Perfectly on the 2. Yeah.
Well,
not easy on the 3.
Yeah, it's just the only downside is just the cue ball is close to the rail. Apart from that, I think
he's got to leave himself long on the 3, because smashing it with spin's not going to get him very far from here. But it's tricky because the 5 and the 4 is kind of potentially blocking the 3. So it looks to me like he'd hit the top side of the 5. So I don't know if he can avoid that.
Just to nudge it.
Just to bump into it and then leave himself on a long 3. It's tricky to see exactly what angle he's got. He was able to bump the top side, and that's what can go wrong, right? whenever you run into balls, even though he hit that exactly like he wanted to, he was aiming to run off the top side of the 5 to help the cue ball up the table for the 3. Could have landed anywhere. Where's it landed? Behind the 7. And it's kind of close for a jump shot, if I'm honest. I think he will be going at the jump here if it's not too close for him. It looks like about 1 ball distance, which is about the minimum amount of distance a player needs to jump the ball if it's a full ball. But if he only needs to jump the edge of the 7, it could be even closer than 1 ball. But he's not even thinking about that. He's looking at the angle to kick it. So he's closer than he fancies. He doesn't like the jump. And he's looking at where on the cushion to hit in order to hit the 3 ball. He obviously can't come to it from the right long rail, so he's got to go the short rail. And this is tough. This is a tricky kick shot. Yeah.
That was a great attempt though.
Yeah, well, it was a good attempt because the complexity in that shot, due to a millimetre or 2 on the position you hit that short rail, it's going to open up to a very large difference by the time it gets to that 3. So it's a lot of feel in those kind of shots. Even when you measure it out, it's nothing guaranteed. Right. Let's see Bala. We haven't seen him today.
Yeah, he's finally got an opportunity.
I mean, this is the first proper. I mean, has he had a better opportunity? I mean, he
Yeah.
hasn't really had
Yeah.
a rack like this, right? Because Sharik's just kept the handcuffs on him. He's done what a pro player does. Kept him in his seat. Brutal pool player mentality. No sympathy.
He's still playing pretty fast. I think his tempo is not affected by the rack difference.
Well, they call it... The other explanation for that is that they call it dead man's stroke. He's got nothing to lose. He can just say, hey, let's go.
That's true. Yeah, that could be it.
Yeah, that's the way Bala plays, and that's the way he should play. If he tried to slow it down and start umming and ahhing and queuing for longer, it won't help him.
Now, this might be this could potentially be a very big comeback for him.
Well, if it's gonna happen, literally,
To climb
it
back
has to
5
happen.
more racks
Because
together.
if Sharik gets, it's a race to 9, right?
Yeah, race to 9.
I mean, if Sharik goes on the hill, with an alternate break, there's no way to back. But it's conceivable from this position, right? With some nice breaks, an unexpected error, the pressure can flip from one side to the other.
Oh yes. So while waiting for the next rack, right? Just to mention to the viewers that the Cole brothers are coming to Singapore, and they are coming down to Rosa on the 23rd of August. So it's a closed event. So we are selling the tickets right now. It's 38 a pop. So you get to meet them in person. There's going to be more details to share, I think, down the road, as it nears the actual day itself. So while stocks last, so you can head on to if you are on the Rosa, subscribe to the Rosa Telegram chat or the WhatsApp chat, right? You would have received informations on this event, and you can just refer to that.
Great. So three players coming down to Rossa who are probably, well, 2 of them are in the top 10 in the world, that's for sure. The third one, the Han brother there, I haven't seen so much of him on the international scene. I think he's the youngest. It's the youngest. Yes, right. But the other 2 guys are in the top 10, if not top 5. Yeah. So that'll be a fun. They're obviously here for the APF and then doing an event at Rossa too. So, Bala, go on.
Just a bit more.
Oh no. Well, from the screenshot we had, it looked like he could cut that, but obviously, as I say, that end of the table is fatter, and it was too much of a cut shot. So he's gone for the bank, missed it by quite a way, and almost made the triple. But the thing is with this shot, obviously he can pop the ball, but control on the cue ball here is very, very tough. So Sharik wisely taking a bit of time here. I mean, another player may have just been down on this and thought, okay, I'm going to smash it in with a bunch of screw and just come back up here somewhere by the 7 and the 8. But Sharik's looking how to manipulate the jaws on the pocket, how thick to hit that one ball, which side of the one ball to float the cue ball around. I doubt we'll see him hit hard here. I think we're going to see him go for the edge of the one ball and just try and float the cue ball up into a potable position, probably down that right hand side of the table, because the 8 and the 7 are very big balls to get hooked behind if you play for that side. Whereas if you can float the cue ball up, oh, it looks like he's spinning the other way.
No, the thing is, the one ball seems to be like
It's so deep inside
yeah,
the
it's
pocket.
really
Yeah,
deep.
yeah,
And
yeah.
if you play it along the rail first.
No,
you
I
might
mean
miss-
hit the ball and put the cue ball up the rail on this side.
I see.
Anyway, he's gone for it now. No, he's done something completely different, and that hasn't worked at all, really. He's got a shot, though. I mean, maybe that's what he meant to do. Just give himself a full ball shot.
Play it
then,
for the safety,
you know,
I guess.
I think most players would have tried to get nicer on that too, but you can get hooked, you can scratch. I mean, all sorts can happen like that. So he's maybe purposely chosen to leave himself a very long cut here. Definitely going for it. Have to go for it, right? 7-2, you've got to go for this. Oh, he's played safe. All right. Stand corrected. Wise and playing the percentages to the end.
It's much more disciplined.
With the confidence of being 7-2 in front, I'd have gone for that cut.
Yeah.
That's why he's there and I'm not. I'm pretty sure, you know what, I mean, when he's feeling confident, that 2-ball cut is 95%, if you ask me. But he's playing the percentages, and fair enough, keeping Bala under pressure. Doesn't want to give him a way back in, right?
Yeah.
Let's say he'd wobbled it and stuck it in the pocket, and then Bala runs out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that's the right way to
I think
play
he
it.
knows his odds pretty well.
Yeah.
It's quite similar to poker, whereby you have a strong hand, but then you're convinced that the opponent might have the nuts.
Right.
Yeah, but it takes great courage for you to just lay it down.
It's a delicate balancing act, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I would wager that most pro players would have gone for that, and I think Bala would have gone for it too. But it's definitely a personal preference.
Yeah, I
you know?
think it also boils down to the player's character. So you can see it. I mean, if it's for players like Joshua Filler, it might be a different case. He seems to play a bit more aggressively by nature.
Right, and look, what's his position in the world?
It's just top 5, right?
Oh, he's
Definitely.
number 1.
Number 1.
Yeah, he's got to be number 1. He's won 7
Yeah.
events this year. I mean, he's number 1 in the money earning. I mean, he might not
Yeah,
be number 1 on the world ranking because they go more on like which event they win. But he's been in the final of or won 7 or 8 of the majors this year. No one's ever done that before.
Yeah.
And he's got there by just being able to make anything from anywhere and just doing it all the time consistently, right? That has to be the future of the game, in my opinion.
I don't really see a lack of confidence in any of his shots. He just go straight for it.
Yeah, and that's why
Yeah.
they go in, right? It's a lot to do with it. When you're feeling good, the ball's going. And how to replicate that under a pressure situation. And he's brought a new level of that to the game, because previously players have tried to do that and then they end up starting to miss balls, and then people will say, oh, they should have played safe, that was wrong because they missed it, and so on and so on. Now he's proving that wrong.
His sheer confidence is like intimidating people in this.
Yeah, and it counts for a lot.
Yeah.
Because this is a game of mental game, right? It's a huge component. So if you can intimidate someone on top of everything else, it's giving you a big advantage. long jump shot here, but expect him to get close to this.
Okay.
Isn't that just what happens when you're in front?
Ball favor, I guess.
And again, I mean, this isn't an easy 3, but he doesn't have to do anything with the cue ball, really. I don't think he can end up behind the 7 and the 8 with this. He's just got to basically make it, and the 4's in the middle afterwards. Is that 4 in the middle? I think so,
Yeah,
right?
4 in the middle.
Yeah.
Wait, he's got to hit a 3 thick, I guess, just to be safe.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to put a lot of spin on it at that distance. It's gonna. You're not sure when is the deflection happening and when is it gripping the cloth and curving back, and then so it's, if you can, centre ball's the safest way to go. Oh, all right. Well, let's hope Bala can do a quick fire, get one back here, make it into a game. This is the only tricky shot, really. 6 to 7 maybe, but depending on the angle he's got for this, I'm pretty sure it should be fine.
Just roll up.
Ooh!
Oh no, please.
Oh, I mean, he'll be mad with himself for that one.
Yeah.
He'll be really mad. I mean, it wasn't easy, in all honesty, but he will be mad he hadn't made it. Because that was game, that shot, really. But has he got lucky? I mean, I don't like to use that word lucky and pool because that's what it's about, but let's say fortunate.
Sure, if Sharik is not able to see it.
He just can't get round. He's got to avoid the 6, right? I'm not sure if his worry is making the ball or scratching or avoiding the 6 for position. It's definitely not trivial getting back onto the 4 here. He may try and screw round the 6 or just come on the inside doing 2 cushion shot. Just chip the 3 so far on the edge that the cue ball will run round and hit the cushion before it goes to the corner pocket. But I'm not sure if the 9's in the way for that. So can our viewers see actually both of these screens or only one?
One at a time. So
Right.
right now, second view is blocked. Oh, okay, never mind. He's moved away.
Because I can't see if he can see the right hand side of the 3 ball, or if he needs to swerve slightly to see the potting angle. So I'm not sure if he's worried about position or potting here.
Gonna play at the thinnest point, I guess.
If he can see the thinnest point, that's
Yeah, the thinnest point of the 3. Then it will be safe. I don't think there will be a risk of scratching. Oh, there is.
yeah.
No, but that one was pretty thick.
No, I think he had to swerve around the 9 to hit the thin side of the 3, and that's what caused him to.
Yeah,
hit
he
it.
landed pretty thick on that one. He contacted the
He
3
did-
ball.
because it didn't catch, it didn't bite the cushion, the cloth enough, it didn't swerve enough. So Bala a little fortunate there to leave a very tricky situation. On a regular club table, that would have been a lot easier than the situation Sharik was facing. It's got a slick conditions. It's very difficult to judge swerve shots, and the right hand spin that was on the cue ball was just basically inviting that corner pocket, just sucking the cue ball in, right? So, all right, this is the round 2 rails, a little bit of draw, and he's gone further than he wanted to by a long way. So he's not. That's just lack of table time, not being in stroke. You know, yeah. It's a really tough game sometimes when you're behind, you're trying to come back, and I mean he'd have been straight in on that 8 99 times out of 100 yesterday, let's say. He's got to punch this in, probably go around 3 rails. 1, no, he's gone that route. He could top spin that through. Nice shot, good
And then,
recovery.
yeah, he recovered.
Took his
well.
time, right? He took his time on that one. All right, that's great.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Let's just take a short break. While waiting for the next break. Okay, we're back. Well, I guess John's not back yet, so I'll just take over for the time being. 7-3, Sharik's leading. Now he's made a couple of Sharik's made a couple of mistakes earlier on. So Bala was able to clinch the rack. At least right now the gap is starting to close up. And for me to catch on the comments, did I miss out any comments earlier on? Okay, you didn't really miss out much. The usual stuff.
Ooh,
Oh, okay. This is not the usual stuff.
that is not the usual stuff. Hang on. So it's good. It was good to see Bala get a rack back there. There is hope left. I'm not rooting for either one of these guys. I just want to see a good match. And I'd like to see Bala play like how he can play. You know, because he's a really accomplished player and really great to watch when he gets in flow. Oh. Again, when you're playing very quick, these kind of things can happen, and you forget the size of the pockets. Not trivial position here. Is he gonna push this forward off the bottom rail and play the 5 back up in the left corner? He's gonna screw over. He's gonna punch the cue ball over. No, he's played the first way I thought. The danger with that is you land straight, but he's landed perfect. That's just the right angle you need to come across for the 6. Any more than that makes the 5 very tough. Any less, can't get on the 6. So, given where he was, to put the cue ball there, it's really ball in hand for that situation.
Now these are more of the crucial shots, I guess.
I mean, he's worried about catching the edge, the far edge of the middle pocket when he pushes it up to the corner pocket. That's why he's taking his time, which is nice to see, because I feel like earlier on in the match he'd have just gone down and knocked this in, tried to, but now he's kind of he's got that little bit of feeling maybe that he can come back. He's taking his time, which is very smart. Careful, he wants to get past the 7. Yeah, all right. So he wasn't feeling comfortable with that shot. He didn't fancy it.
Too thin. Seems like he landed a bit. He cut a bit thin. So.
He did. No, I think he went into the cushion first when he hit it.
Okay.
But I mean, he was really perfect on that ball. So I'm surprised to see him miss that one. I'm sad to see it.
Whoa, slow down there.
It's perfect. It's perfect. That I think that was Bala's chance. Gone. Yeah, when these guys play at this level, you can count back to a very small number of mistakes that made all the difference. And that one there was probably the end of it.
No, I think Bala might have one last chance. I think he's the guy to break for the next one.
Right.
Now he has to get something in on the break.
Yeah, you're right. It's going to be 7-4, so
Yeah.
it will be Bala on the break for the next one.
Yeah, he's been having a rough time trying to get the wing ball in.
He made it the last time, though, for the first time.
Yeah,
Two or three
but
unfortunate breaks, let's say. But the last one, he managed to make it. Now, that's a huge difference there. 4-7, 8-3. But these guys for sure have a never give up mentality. They wouldn't have achieved as much as they have in the sport if they ever got to the point where they gave up. Till that last 9 ball goes down, Bala will be giving it his all. You can see there Sharik's case, sponsored by Rossa. Very nice looking case from the 3 Seconds company, who make some really nice equipment. I have one of those cases myself. He's actually sponsored by Predator.
yes,
Right.
Predator Pro. Yes.
Fraser is another one of the Rossa players. I wasn't here on Saturday, so do you know what happened? How come Fraser's not playing?
For this event,
Yeah, did he play on Saturday?
he did.
He did?
I think he lost to. So who?
Nice break there. 2 ball down, wing ball down. Okay. No. Yeah. Unfortunately, a little bit lack of control there on the cue ball. May have been kicked. So is he going for another bank, or has he chosen now it's time to play safe? Ooh, wow, okay. Oh no! Oh
dear,
no!
that's it.
Oh no! Well, that's just bad luck, really, because it was a good bank, and the position was good, but that cue ball was just there in the wrong place.
Okay, so let's see. So Fraser lost to Sharik on the first day of the event. 8.
So Fraser came up against Sharik, and that's the way. Didn't make so. Only one player from each day went through to this final tonight.
Yep.
And Fraser came up against Sharik there on the first day
During the semi-finals.
during the semi-final. Okay, so he made it through to the semi-final, the last day of a good bunch of people, 20-30 people at least, right, in the tournament there.
Yeah, 20-ish.
20-ish in the so each day. And then yesterday, the unlucky finalist was Steve Fang.
Finalist was AJ.
It was I thought AJ played Bala, and then
Was it? As a semi-finalist.
semi-final was AJ and Bala, and the final was Bala and Steve. Or was that the other semi?
AJ and Bala. Yesterday's final.
So AJ actually into the final.
Yep.
And Bala beat Steve Fang in the semi, because Steve Fang's one of our previous winners, also one of the top Singapore aspiring pros. And AJ, the Filipino I mentioned earlier on, probably the best player, or pretty much unarguably the best player in Singapore. He made it through to the final against Bala, and it was a close one. Very close one. 9-6 in the end there against Bala yesterday.
Yeah, I had a short word with AJ, and he says that
You had a
he
shower with AJ?
No, a short word with
Oh,
him.
a short
Yeah,
word.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, he basically said that it was the furthest he had made in one of these Rosa events.
Yeah,
yeah.
But I think he specifically meant as in it's the furthest he's made here, because
Yeah,
normally
yeah.
this guy is winning a lot, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's yeah. Aye, oh,
And that's it.
So we have it here. Sharik Saeed, in-house pro, taking the event down. Number 3 in the Yuba Fang series.
So first one was Steve Fong.
Sifon.
Second one was Aloysius, I believe.
Aloysius is in town, so
Yeah.
kind of a no-brainer.
And now Sharik's the third one.
All right, great. So there's one more before the grand finals in November then.
Yeah.
I guess we'll be back in a couple of weeks for that. A few weeks' time. Maybe September?
Yeah, but I believe
September, October, somewhere.
yeah, somewhere there, I guess. So, but yeah, do stay tuned. If you are subscribed to the Telegram community chat as well as the WhatsApp chat, for the Rosa Communications, right? You will receive updates on when the registration window is open. So just keep an eye on it. Yeah. Yep, and that's about it. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Good night.